All right, I'm in the tree line now. It's really started coming down. I was definitely right in my prediction that it was going to rain. I'm going to set up a simple lean-to shelter, probably between this tree and that tree there. You want a level ground. You don't want a lot of sticks. You want to make sure that above you there's nothing that's going to fall on you that the wind may disturb. Fall on you, we call those widow makers. Something like this, not as serious. But this leaning tree here, this tree is definitely dead. It's leaning on this tree for support. So we're going to go ahead and push this out of the way very carefully, just to make sure that that doesn't fall on us while we're either camping, setting up our shelter, surviving, what have you. So I'm going to go ahead and get a shelter set up between these two trees. You want something close enough for your tarp. That's why it's important to always get out and test your gear, test your stuff, so you know exactly what you should be looking for, especially when you're setting up shelter. Now today, I've got an oilskin tarp I'm testing out, tied to the bottom of my frame pack. I'm going to go ahead and get my little backpack out of the way so I don't get the ropes mixed up. I just got this lashed very quickly and easily at the bottom of this pack frame. That's why I love this thing. You can carry a lot. I'm going to go ahead and get this undone, get this set up, and get out of the rain, get a little fire going. I'll teach you some wet weather fire making tips. And we can have a little bit of lunch. Apologize if I'm not in frame. I don't have a cameraman today, so I'm just kind of guessing. We're going to go ahead and slide this out. The ropes didn't trip on that. Alright, this is the first time I've ever used this tarp. But what oilskin is it's a pretty light material, tarp material, but it's impregnated with oil. It means it's been soaked in oil so that it's water repellent. I'm going to go ahead and start getting it set up. As the rain's starting to really come in. I'm not going to use a whole lot of cordage. I'm going to use just a little bit. Actually, I think I'm going to use the stuff from the pack. This is just here just to be extra, so I'm not really worried about using this. It doesn't hold the frame or anything together. It's just there to hold stuff on. Use it for exactly this situation. Here's some thunder in the distance. Definitely the rain's picking up. It's important not to rush. Because the more you rush, the more you panic, the more likely it is that you're going to take longer to do what you need to do. Especially in a survival situation. You don't want to be making hasty decisions in a situation that may impact your life. You take your time, make sure this is all coming undone, not knotted up, and we're golden. So I'm going to go ahead, tie off to this tree a little bit higher than I normally would. I just don't want to mess up any of these branches. But maybe this one. I'm just going to do some simple overhand knots, which if you don't know what an overhand knot is the knot you use to start your shoelaces. Easiest fallback knot. Everyone knows it, hopefully. I'll make sure this reaches over. It does. That's awesome. I'm going to take this tie out on this corner of this tarp. I'm going to put it right up against this tree. I don't normally do this, but this time I am. I'm going to tie it right to my first knot. Just 2 or 3 overhand knots just to hold it in. Like I said, I'm in a hurry. And, important, I'm going to go ahead, while keeping it tight a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and feed this through and do not even a knot. I'm just going to loop over itself while keeping tension on both the tarp and the rope, and then I'll help keep the tarp a little bit taut. And I'm just going to keep repeating that. Get that shelter set up. I also picked this spot because the ground's pretty flat and muddy here, so it should resist any fire. I won't be spreading any fire in the ground. You need to make sure you're being conscientious while you're out in the woods. That's going to fit perfectly. Feeds right into what I was saying about important knowing your gear. While I've never used this particular tarp, I've had a lot of tarps this exact same size, so I kind of know what I'm looking for. I'm just going to go overhand. Go around again. Pull it tight. Go ahead and feed through this hole. Again, pull it tight some more. And we're just going to do a couple overhand knots. Super easy, doesn't have to be fancy. I see all these bushcrackers on YouTube and survivalists on YouTube saying, oh, well, you got to do a double trucker hit into this. Blah, 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 blah. You don't. Overhand knots is fine. This is hot. It's good. We're going to start picking up some sticks. What I'm going to do with these is use these as stakes. You're not going to be able to see me, I'm going to be behind, but all I'm doing, taking these, pulling out the tarp, shoving it through the holes here. I don't know if you can see me. Shoving it through the hole. Angle the way, push it into the ground. Doesn't have to be perfect. These are the sticks that I picked up off the ground. No pressure. People always think you need all kinds of fancy, expensive gear, plastic gear. You need stakes. Just pick up some sticks. Now, as you put up your shelter, I'm going to go back and put my original stake. I'm going to move that just to tighten it up. Push it down with my foot. And there we go. We've got a little bit of a simple shelter set up, something that's really easy but effective. We've been doing it a long time this way. give myself a little more room. Got this stick, part of that tree I knocked over. I'm just gonna bring that and set that down. I undid one of my stakes. That happened. This means I didn't have them deep enough. Well, so much for that. Okay. Usually, you could use a tile like this, give yourself more headroom, somewhere actually dry to sit. The first one I'm going to do is I'm going to get my gear under here so it stays dry. Myself a little sheepskin sit mat. Somewhere to sit while I make fire out here. Got my bag with all my fire making supplies. Another bag. And some other gear. Alright. I'm going to sort out this shelter a little bit better and I'll be right back with you. We're going to start collecting some firewood. Oh, that's embarrassing. Go up. You always want to listen to your wood. A clean, nice, sharp snap means it's pretty dry. You don't want anything that sounds like that. Okay, that part sounds good. That piece isn't too bad. So you want as sharp snaps as possible. That means it's dry. Alright. That's almost enough for me to start a fire for what I want to do, but I'm going to grab some more. So I'm pulling most of this from that tree I pushed down because it's easy, it's close, it's convenient, and that's a decent amount of wood. That's good wood. I think we're just about ready to get started. I'm going to get a little set up and I'll be right back with you guys. What I've done is I've gone and collected some thick dead wood, and what that's going to do is give us a poorly burning base to build our fire on. What I like to do is build a little bit of a base from other wood, just to make sure enough oxygen gets to our fire. And you don't want to put this directly under your tarp because you could end up burning it. I'm a little bit under my tarp, but I think that's going to be okay, because it's not going to be a very big fire. It's just going to be a small cooking fire. Sun's starting to come out, which is good. But I'm going to go ahead. I already set up shelter. I already set up camp. I like to place a lot of my thicker stuff on the bottom, because that gives the embers something to catch on. You don't want to use all of it because I don't want to use up all my fuel wood. And by that I mean fuel for burning later on in the fire when I need some good coals. I just like to kind of go through and make like a grid system. And I'm going to build my fire right around here. Now everything's a little wet, but that's okay, because I've got some good stuff to get this fire going. I think that's about as big as I want to make the base. So from here, what you want to do is you kind of want to sort your wood. If you've got really good thin dry stuff, This is a bit thick even. I would say this would be like stage 2 pieces. I'm gonna set these on my dry poncho here. But you want to kind of get those sorted, because we're going to do the fire in stages, how it likes its fuel source. So that thin stuff is what I like to start with. And you want to listen for that crisp snap. These are just the ends of that tree. Now these are pretty wet on the outside, but the snap lets me know they're dry on the inside. So it may struggle at first, but I'm confident that we can get this fire going. Now, I like to keep it pencil sized, finger sized, and then your wrist size wood will be your fuel. So this is finger size. This is pencil size, and I would say this is smaller than pencil size. So it's going to go in my starter stuff, my kindling, going to get this all processed down for you, and I'll be right back. Alright, I think we got the fire lay set up pretty well. Pretty lazy, pretty quick, but I wanted to get it done. So I like to build a platform, put some leaves down, or something that's going to keep all your ashes and everything from falling through, all your fire, your tinder material, something for that to sit on that will also burn. I like to elevate the back like that, just so I can place sticks above it and they're not going to smother the fire. Now you don't want it too high, which I may have it too high right now. Actually, I think I'm going to go ahead and shift that over since that's so deep. So I've got my sticks down to my really thin stuff, pencil size, finger size. There's some other stuff mixed in. It's did a pretty quick job on it. But one thing I wanted to talk about is a little tip, something I've done for years, but I've never really seen anyone else talk about or do. I keep one of these fans for fire making specifically. And what I like to use this for is I like to set all my smaller stuff, keeps it off the ground if it's wet, especially like today. You can put your tinder on it and everything right here. This is what's hopefully going to get our fire started today. This is some small pieces of fat wood I processed down previously, some fat wood shavings. I think I even have, yeah, thought it was a match, but it's just a thin piece of fat wood. And what fat wood is when a pine tree gets injured or dies, all the sap will go to that spot and pool there. And what that is a hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbons are extremely flammable. They like to burn. So this is pretty well waterproof, and it will burn really hot and really fast. But hopefully, with all this wet weather, that's what's going to get us our fire going. Go ahead and get this set up. And if we can't get it going with that, we'll use this Pyro Putty. I was gifted this a couple of years back. I think it's pretty much just like cotton with Vaseline, essentially. But we'll try that out. What I think I'm going to be going ahead and starting the fire with today is I think I would like to do, we're going to go ahead and use my custom striker I made and a ferrocerium rod. I'll keep in my belt pouch. I think we're going to go ahead and try to start it with that. We'll see how it goes. It's the humidity before it started raining was sitting at about, I think, 80%, and then we had all this rain, so we'll see how it goes. We may end up having to use the fire putty, but I've gotten fires with less, so we'll go ahead and make a go of it. I've got some tinder here, a little tinder pouch that I also keep in my belt pouch. Just various things I picked up over the ears. I've got some beeswax, which is a really great helper, especially in situations like this. But we're going to go ahead and get some tinder out. Most of this is processed twine, pineapple leaf fibers, and I think this is all pineapple leaf fiber. But we're going to go ahead and make a little halfway bird nest, and what that is just fine material. Oh, I've got a cotton ball in there even too with some fat wood on it. We're going to go ahead and put that right down in there. To help it out, we're going to put some fat wood shavings in there. Not too many at first, I don't want to waste them all at once. But I'm going to start my fire over here where I can scrape. Let's see. So I'm actually going to use this. Set it down here, have a base, go bam, scrape some unignited stuff in there. And that way, hopefully, whenever I actually want it to take a spark, it'll go pretty well. I'm gonna go ahead and get some more going. Some of that may light up. May have gotten a bit too wet. Oh, it sure did. It just soaked. So we're going to go ahead and grab some more tinder. It's a cedar bark. We're going to try to tuck that in there. And we're going to cheat today just because it is so wet. I mean, I am soaked. We're going to cheat with a Bic. This rival situation, this will be your number one way of starting fire. Oh my God. So we're going to go ahead and get that going with that. Fire likes to climb. It's kind of a terrible first fire for this channel. All right. We're going to wait for that to get going a little bit. And we're going to feed it some fat wood. Hopefully really get it going. Well, yeah, you do what you got to do. This is just kind of a leisure trip. So we're going to let that burn for a second, really get that fat wood going. I want to make sure that's going before I throw on really thin stuff here. Looks like it's going pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and lay that across. Hopefully that small stuff will go. We'll hold our breath. I would not be at all surprised if this did not go. I mean, it looks okay right now, but that can always change. Looks like it may be okay. That's another thing I like to use this fan for, is to go ahead and fan flames. It doesn't need it right now, but it might in a minute. The smoke will also help to keep those horse flies away. They're still hanging out, but this will keep gnats and mosquitoes and everything away. And once your smaller stuff starts to go, you want to put on your pencil-sized pieces of wood. Get them going. The longer they have to get going, especially being this wet, the better. I mean, you can see the moisture on them. See all the steam rising off of it. But yeah. Now I think we're going to feed it a little oxygen with this fan. think we're in business? Maybe? We'll find out. I've had fires going better than this that have just died after a good rain. It stopped raining now, but it's sun's coming out. But we'll see. I'm going to see about getting my tripod set back up. Then I'll check back in with you guys once this burns for a little bit. Definitely burning all right now. So the elevated platform, especially when the ground's soaking wet like it was, really helped out. Really gets oxygen to it. Really gets it burning. I made sure not to put it too far underneath my tarp. It's under there a little bit, but it's not close enough for it to matter. Now that we've got it burning pretty well, we can go ahead and throw the big stuff on. We want to give that as much time to dry out from the fire as possible. Burn down into coals, drop down on the bigger stuff once that dries out a little bit more, and then we'll be pretty much good for cooking. I'm actually going to give it just a little bit more air. Ooh. Yeah, I don't know why more people don't use this. I've used this as a plate. I've used this as a fan, obviously, for a fire. I've used it for a fan for myself. Blow smoke away from you. Dry platform to put things on. You just got to be careful because it will burn up. But I mean, it folds and rolls. You can throw it in a pack. You don't have to worry about it. But yeah, I've been carrying it for years, using it for years. I've never really seen any other outdoors person, bushcrafter, survival person, whatever, use it. But yeah, we're gonna let this burn down. Maybe I'll go over some gear while this burns down to coals. Don't want to bore you guys too much, so we'll check back in. So I figured while I have fires burning down, I could talk about a lot of the kit that I keep on my belt when I come out in the woods. At a minimum, this is typically what I'll carry for a day hike. So first and foremost, we've got my belt knife that I made. This is 1095 steel, forged it myself. It had a very different profile originally, back when I first made it. It's got brass scale liners. Scales are made from desert ironwood. But yeah, it's pretty thick. It's kind of the best of everything. Jack of all trades knife is what I like to call it. Yeah, it's heavy. It's heavy duty. I've batoned small pieces with this when I'm carving spoons. Used it for food prep. The tip was a lot different originally. It wasn't kind of like the dagger shape that it is now. But yeah, it just kind of ended up being that way. I'd made this sheath for it. Just wet formed a sheath. And did some cool carvings on it. Wanted to experiment with that. But then, while waterproofing it, I overheated it and cracked the leather. It's still perfectly fine. In fact, it still retains it pretty well, but I think a future video I might remake this sheath and make it a little bit better and not burn it, hopefully. So there's that. Never leave house without a fixed blade when I'm going to the woods. Next up, we've got my kuksa, quote-unquote kuksa that I carved. Some people call it a noggin. It's got a little toggle. This slips under your belt, and so it holds on like that, so you can take it out pretty easily. I like to drink out of this. Absolutely not necessary. In a pinch, if I had no other way to boil water, I could fill this with water and then drop hot rocks in here and boil that, and boil pretty quick because it's a small container, but you're not going to get very much water out of that. But I might slowly just carry this because I made it and I love it. And yeah, that's how to sycamore from this same forest, actually. And there's my belt pouch, which is mostly a fire kit. So we're going to go into that. This is buckskin, same piece of buckskin as my backpack that I carry. And same buckskin as this. This is my fire kit. We'll go into that in a second. This is... oh, sorry. This is my tinder kit. It's got a chunk of beeswax, a bunch of cedar, cotton balls, just anything I really need to start a fire. I'm not going to go show you everything that's in there. I'm sure you're not interested in that, but this is a cordage that I made myself. Braided it myself. It's just a little drawstring bag. We'll go through the rest of the bag and then I'll go through the fire stuff. I'll kind of separate that. But this is, at a bare minimum, what I usually like to carry in the woods. Some of it is not super functional. Some of it's more sentimental and redundant, I would say. Okay. That's actually supposed to be in the tinder bag. Big piece of twine. So, I like to carry this for any impromptu carving I want to do. I've carved a couple spoons with this. This is just a cheap, I believe Schrade makes this. But it's a ripoff of the carving jack. But, I mean, it's $34 or something on Amazon. But yeah, it's got all kinds of different knives. All kinds of different blades. Some curved, you know, this is the spoon carving knife that I use the most for getting the bowls and everything. But yeah, so there's that. We've got a little Falkneven DC3 sharpening stone to maintain both my belt knife, this knife, and then my Swiss Army knife I've also got in there. It's got a diamond side and a ceramic side. I use DC4s more often than not, but I accidentally bought a DC3. Thought it was a perfect size to throw in this belt pouch. Then I've got a little pine sap salve I made. Oops. This is good. It's a antibiotic. It helps with skin inflammation. It helps with all kinds of stuff. Any skin issue pretty much except for deep lacerations, this is going to help with. It's antimicrobial, antibiotic, antifungal. But yeah, good stuff. Really awesome stuff to carry. And in a pinch, it's also got castor oil in it, I believe. Yes. And in a pinch, you can use this since it's got beeswax in it as well. So it's pine resin, beeswax, castor oil. All of them are flammable, and they'll absolutely burn if you put it on a cotton ball or on some tinder. It's definitely a tinder extender. Then I've got a... this one's more sentimental. This is for my bachelor party. Kind of doesn't go with the rest of the gear's vibe. I like the very traditional old-fashioned look, but this is, you know, plastic and blue. And this is just a Swiss Army knife, I believe, Captain model. But I got this coming back for my bachelor party, so it's super sentimental. I don't use it a whole lot, actually. I'll use the knife for eating and cooking, but that's about the main thing I use it for. I bought it because we didn't have a corkscrew. I'm not in frame. We didn't have a corkscrew on my bachelor party, so we had to push in the cork of a bottle of mead I had gotten, and yeah, I was like, oh, never again. Bought one with a corkscrew, but it's a good backup knife. It's good to have in a survival situation. So then also let's get into the fire stuff. Besides the tinder, I've got this little guy, which my wife got me for a Christmas, a couple Christmases ago. This is, I believe it's based off an old design, but what it does is it catches sparks off this cotton rope. Then you use that, touch that to your tinder, and that'll get your fire going. Close it up, pulls that ball in, smothers that fire, and yeah. Pretty cool thing. Pocket bellows, which I've talked about in a couple shorts, but I'll go over it now. It's basically just a car antenna, but it extends out. It's hollow. Ooh, where's my camera? It's hollow, so you blow in it to get oxygen to your fire so you don't burn your face, and it's a lot more efficient. Keeps your hands away from the fire, keeps everything away from the fire, keeps you from breathing in a bunch of smoke. Let's talk about this. This is Bad as Bee fire fuses. I cut a bunch in half. They're there. That's a candle there. And then the rest of this is just packed with fat wood powder. I just shaved down a bunch of fat wood into basically sawdust. It clumps together. This is like my get it going in any weather fire kit, essentially, for this belt pouch. So now we'll get into the actual fire kit itself. It's got this nice Triskelion button on it. Sorry if this is a little awkward. I can't really see what I'm doing on camera. But I've got a Hudson Bay tobacco tin in here. It's got a magnifying glass in case you want to start a fire with solar. I've got a Bic lighter, which I used today to start our fire. And then, because I don't want to use the Hudson Bay tobacco tin to make char in because it'd crack the glass, I've got a little char tin with char cloth in it to refill my flint and steel kit in there. And that's all for the in there. So we'll get into the Hudson Bay tobacco tin now. Apologies again, one-handed. So in here I have this, which is a leather leaf. So if I wanted to make a fire using friction fire, this is what I would use to catch the ember that I would make from the fire, transfer it to a bird's nest. Also protects my magnifying lens on the inside, so it works better. This is called tinder fungus or cramp balls, depending on where you're in the world. Harvested this. If you hit this with a spark, it will smolder and smolder. It smolders for a long time. Really great tinder. Got some char cloth, got some flint, my striker, some more of those bee fuses, which is literally just cotton with beeswax in it. A little piece of a candle that I burned up over the years. And yeah, that's pretty much it for my pocket kit. And I'll go into the shoulder bag maybe in another video once it's a little bit better together. Right now though, looks like our fire is just about ready. Maybe a little too far gone. I'm going to add some more stuff to it. And we'll get cooking. Today I've got some, I believe, lamb shoulder chop. We're going to cook that up, have it with some naan bread, and continue our day hike. And I'll check back in with you once I get set up. So it's looking like our fire's just about ready. It's a little crazy in the back right now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this. It's a little folding grill that I have that my day pack usually has in it. We're going to put that there, and we're going to try to cook right about here. That way we don't get too much direct heat. We're going to use this little cheapo Amazon special skillet. Cook this. I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in there. Just so. You always want a fat in with your stuff you're cooking, or else you'll burn it. This is not a cooking channel by any means, but I know how to cook in the woods. So, get this grabbed. And we're going to go ahead and be cooking this lamb shoulder chop. Excuse me. So we're going to go ahead and cook this today. Make sure that is about the right temperature. Cut that open. Looks like it might be just a little big for my pan, but that is okay. We can make it work. All right. Stir this oil around. Get it nice and coated. We're going to go ahead and drop her in. Now what we're trying to do, trying to get a good sear on both sides. We're going to do about 2 minutes on each side. I'm actually going to get that oil moved around. We're going to sear that about 3 minutes on that side and then about 2 minutes on the other side. think that fire's calmed down enough. I can scoot that back just a bit. Not worried about it right now. I want that good sear on it, sealing that moisture. That might be too hot. Smoking olive oil a little bit. Ooh. I think it's just too hot on that one side. Just more olive oil on that side. Now I did not season this just yet. Actually, I am going to throw some rosemary on that side. Our little spice kit. Get ready to flip this here in a minute, because it is a little bit higher of a temperature than I would like. So I'm sure it's pretty well seared. Alright. Try to get some of those fats moved around. Got a spider web in there, that's cool. Okay, cool, so it's lifting off. We're going to go ahead and take a look at it. This little spatula I made. Oh my gosh. Nope, that is not even remotely seared. Alright, we're going to put that back. Now I'm going to stop being so impatient. Well, let's do it. Let it do its thing. Now I'm going to be quiet. Just let you guys enjoy the sounds of sizzling meat and campfire. A little bit of Mystic Forge ASMR. I don't know if you guys can hear that in the distance, that rumbling. That's that storm that came through off in the distance doing its thing. Definitely makes for good ambiance. Alright. Check it again. It's getting a little color. Sorry if everything's off. It's my first real video, so I don't really know what I'm doing just yet. So be patient with me. If you like what you see, maybe like and subscribe. Drop a comment on maybe what I should improve on. If you like it, let me know that too. Usually, I'll use a little bit better of a pan for this. I have an Augsburger frying pan, which is a Viking Age recreation. It's a lot thicker than this, and I find that it holds the heat a lot better than this, but it's just so heavy to carry out. The handle's so thick. So it's a little bit of a challenge to cook with this very thin, pretty cheap metal pan. It's almost like a dog food bowl, it feels like. But I've had it for years. I've used it a couple times, but I usually use it for like a little stir fry. And it's good for that, but not for this. Got popped with oil there. There we go. That's a good looking start. Alright. I'm going to hit this side with some rosemary now. I may overcook this. I've never done lamb over a campfire. Usually when I do lamb, actually I usually grill it, but this is a little different. So there's a little bit of a learning curve, so don't hate on me too much for my poorly cooked lamb. Definitely hot. We're actually going to pull this. That oil is about to go up. Let that cool off for just half a second. The ground sucks the heat out of it pretty well. Add some oil. A lot of oil. Move it around a bit. Hopefully that's seared pretty well. Uh-oh. Burned through my first stick. I don't think this other one's doing much better. But we'll find out. Yeah, not looking too bad just yet. Might edit out all this jabbering, but we'll see. Oh boy. Yep, adding that new wood has made new fire. Definitely a bit hot now. So I'm gonna try to come over here where the coals are. I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to put just a little bit of water on this. Calm this fire down a bit. Do a little bit more. Sorry about that cut in the video. I had to make some adjustments. Let the phone rest for a second. It was getting a little bit warm near this fire. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cook over these coals here, and hopefully finish out this little lamb chop. And yeah, we'll be back in just a little bit. What we're going to go ahead and do is add this butter that I pre-seasoned. It's got salt, pepper, garlic, and I believe a little bit of Italian seasoning and a little bit more rosemary. We're going to go ahead and plop that on there. Make sure this lamb chop stays nice and moist. You know what they say, butter makes everything better. Alright. Check to see how we're doing on the other side. Don't believe that it has a sear just yet. Does not. We're going to get that butter down. I don't know if it's going to get a sear. My fire's not wanting to cooperate with all this high humidity. We may pull this off in a minute. I think that it's definitely done. Get that cut up. I think I'm going to eat it on some naan bread. Maybe make kind of like a little bit of a almost taco. Alright. I'm pretty sure we're done. So we're going to go ahead and set up this little cutting board slash plate that I made that decided it wanted to warp a whole bunch. Go ahead and pull this off. Pretty sure this is going to be like jerky, but we're going to go ahead and pull it off and dig in. Looks pretty good. Sear wise, oh, maybe it's a little more tender than I thought. Okay. Alright. We're going to let this cool off. It's got to rest for a minute. Get this fire sorted out, built back up. And I'll get back with you. Alright, she's looking done. We're going to go ahead and cut into it. Oh. Definitely not as tender as it could be. We're just making sure it's cooked through. And it looks alright. Looks okay to me. I think what we're going to do is we're going to cut pieces off like that, throw it in this garlic naan over here, and chow down. Cut it off the cutting board. Let's slip right into that little bowl. I think we're looking good. Now, whenever you cook things with bones out in the woods, you never want to leave the bones themselves out in the woods. When you cook bones, it makes it to where they splinter as opposed to how they normally come apart. And it can wreak absolute havoc on all the little critters out here. Raccoons, coyotes, anything that may come and try to scavenge this. See how hot this is. Not at all. Cool. So we're going to go ahead and get all the meat off. Don't want to waste any meat. Kind of make this a halfway taco, halfway gyro. You don't want to burn the bones either because that could still leave bone shards. Same problem. Lots of dogs, even dogs out here in the woods. Put this in a bag I brought specifically for this. Dogs out here, you know, people take their dogs for a walk, enjoying the beauty of this state park I'm in. One of them comes along and finds that chunk of bone, could absolutely kill them. Perforated bowels. I'm just going to pull this apart. Actually, I'm going to try a little bite real quick. Oh, wow. Okay. I thought I ruined this. I'm going to be completely honest. But that's killer. That's really good. I seasoned that butter. And wow, all those flavors just really come through. Rosemary doesn't shine through a whole lot, but that's fine because rosemary's not my favorite flavor. Sorry for any of you guys that want to see me eat on camera. I'm not into that. Well, yeah, I think I'm going to pick this piece off by myself. Just gnaw on this. Get all that out of there. Cut these pieces into smaller pieces. Throw it in this bread. Call it a day. Oh yeah. I'm really glad I didn't ruin this. Alright. I don't really need to cut cut it into super small pieces, but I know some of you guys watching, you seasoned outdoorsmen or the guys who really know their knives, I'm not hitting this really hard and it's just the tip. I'm not like killing the edge of the blade, but I'm applying very light pressure. Yeah, just enough to get through this. Again, sorry for my filming. My very first long video. I don't know how much of this is going to get edited out. But I think that's pretty much good. Set the size so we can watch it later. We're going to throw that in here. Oh, there's the money shot. Looks pretty good. I think I'm just going to fold this up. Call it a day. I wish I had some kind of sauce. Could have made some sort of sauce from the drippings. But, you know, not get too fancy. Sometimes it's more important to just get in the woods. Oh my gosh, yeah. Beautiful. Garlic naan. Lamb shoulder chop. 10 out of 10. Definitely going to make this again. Alright. Check back in after I'm done eating. It's starting to get a little dark. I've had my delicious lamb chop. Time to start breaking camp down. We'll let these last little bits of wood burn themselves out. When I take all this down, it's still absolutely soaked. That's okay, because it's about 90 degrees out right now, so I'm not too worried about hypothermia. So we're going to see if I can take this down, keep this cordage attached, this twine, and see if I can use it to tie it to my pack without having to take it through all these holes. I think it performed pretty well. It's a Bushcraft Spain oilskin tarp. My first time using it. I think it held out the rain pretty well, especially since I didn't have it pitched very steep. Just going to undo these overhand knots. Another reason I like them is they're fairly easy to get undone most of the time. Especially with this natural cordage. I had a little less tension on there. There we go. But yeah, successful day trip. Let me know if you guys like this video. If I need to talk less, if that's something you're into. My feelings won't be hurt. I'm new to this, and your guys' feedback, all my 19 loyal subscribers. Thank you for subscribing, by the way, everyone. You guys are super cool for that. Alright. Got that down. Undo the back. I always like to use a bright colored paracord for guy lines that are where people may walk, because it's no fun at all to be walking in your camp and catch yourself in the throat, face, or even ankle with a piece of paracord. Alright, so we're going to fold this up. Try to just rope exposed. No, actually, we're just going to pull it up. Never mind. Ignore me. Yeah. That's why I like to not tie knots in these. Except in this one where I tied a knot. I like to just loop it over because it'll just pull right out. The reason I was going to try to leave it in is because it's getting dark. And I want to beat sunset. It may not look like it on my camera, but my camera's got pretty good darkness, night vision. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. Ignore me. Yeah, I think this held up pretty well. Definitely going to use it again. Definitely glad I got it. It's a lot lighter than my other canvas tarp. And a lot quieter than my regular tarps. The only thing is, I'm not really sure why it attracted all those horseflies. But I mean, they hung out for a while. Even after I had the fire going, which is smoke typically will keep them away pretty well. Not really sure what was going on there. If anyone knows, if anyone's got a bushcraft Spain or a oilcloth tarp, let me know if you've ever experienced it attracting bugs. Alright. Go ahead and fold it in half. This is going to be really rough and tumble. Like I said, I'm in a hurry. Fold it in half again. That's just about the length I want, or width, because that's about the same width as my pack frame bottom. I'm going to tie it around. Not real sure how in frame I am. Bear with me while I get my filming legs. Not really sure what my goal with this YouTube channel is. I don't think I'll blow up and, you know, be able to support myself off of the YouTube channel. That's not real. That's kind of a lofty goal, I would say. But you know, if I brought in any money on the side, that would be really awesome. But I would say maybe it's a motivation to get me out more. I mean, ultimately, I would say it's a good goal. There's another horsefly. Yeah. So that's a thing. That's fun. But yeah, maybe to get me out more. I used to spend a lot of time in these woods, especially. But I had lots of things come up in life. Kept me from the woods. Not bad things, good things. Having a kid, getting married, spending more time with my wife and daughter is always good, but it got to the point where I wasn't spending any time for myself at all. My lovely, beautiful wife gave me the go-ahead. Start coming out and filming. Very supportive, very awesome. I'm so happy to have her. But yeah, I guess that's what drew me out here. I mean, if you like the videos, that's cool. Maybe I could have a little bit of a community online. That'd be really cool. But yeah, I'm not real sure what the goal of this little experiment is. Even if no one watches them, which I hope you do. Maybe you learn something. If I could teach one person one thing, you know, I'd say this is pretty successful. If I could get one person to go in the woods, go out and explore nature, or learn a new skill maybe, you know, making stuff. I mean, I make a lot of my gear just because I think it's really interesting. We're gonna put a girth hitch on this here, which is super easy. Literally just pull some of it over, pull some of it through. I believe it's called a girth hitch. I'm not so great with the knots. I'm gonna do that to anchor that to the middle of the pack. And then I'm just gonna, it's easy as just wrapping it around. But yeah, that fucking horse. Ooh. Anyway, pardon my profanity. I'm going to try not to swear on this YouTube channel, but I swear like a sailor, so there may be no luck on that. Maybe I'll bleep it out. But yeah, if I could reach one person, make one person happy, make one person do something new, step out of their comfort zone, or learn a new skill, something, anything, any kind of impact, I'd be happy, even if I only had one viewer. All right. Oh yeah, just gonna get this attached to here. Hopefully beat the sunset, which we're way in a valley right now in this park I'm in. So it gets dark here a little bit earlier than everywhere else. Share down in the comments when the last time you went outside was. Tell me what you did. Talk amongst each other, if anyone is indeed watching. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and put all this back together. I'm thinking I want to do, so I do historical reenactment. I do Viking Age reenactment. I just started doing 18th century reenactment as well. And if you guys think that might be an interesting video topic, let me know. And I'll put some of those videos out. I think I want to do some Viking hiking, where I put together what I believe, which Vikings didn't really go hiking, but what I believe would be about what they would carry on their long treks, or to show some 18th century kit. Ignore this, this is just a trash bag for picking up trash on the way out. But you should always leave with more trash than you came in with. When you're in the woods. But yeah, if you want to watch any of the Viking hiking videos, if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments. If there's any topics you want me to cover, like water purification, fire starting, let me know. That as well, because I mean, I've got lots of YouTube video ideas, but we'll see how long I have them before I run out. Always want to hear back from you guys. Feedback's super important. Yeah, I think I'm gonna finish packing up, quit jabbering on, make sure to get this fire out really well. I'm gonna probably pour a bunch of water on there, put some, the reason I picked this spot, there's a lot of clay right here, not a lot of plants, not a lot of plant matter. So what I think I'm gonna do is I might dig some of this up, bury some of the coals that are still steaming. I never make sure they're cool enough for me to touch before I leave them. You always want to be responsible in the forest. These are important places for a lot of wildlife and the people that want to come and see it, and you don't want to mess that up. So I'm gonna go ahead and break down camp the rest of the way, quit chit-chatting, and yeah, see you in the next video maybe.